AI, holy crap, dipping my toes into this and trying to figure out what the heck is going on, where it's going to take us, what it's going to do. We keep hearing rumors like, oh, AI is going to take away all our jobs and everything. Well, started with Chat GTP, and now I'm working with Grok, and I'm asking it some questions. So as of right now, we are at the end of 2024. This is Grok 2. Um, and here I was pulling up some basic questions, some curiosity. So yeah, what are some of the most popular podcast topics? So relating back to me, what I'm doing with podcasting, what I'm trying to get into and go forward with. So oddly enough, number one comes up true crime. So stories about mysteries, murders, and unsolved cases. So this is what I found in even in the dating life. There's so many women are into this, and it's kind of crazy. Like the show Dexter is one that women really are into. It goes right up here at number one with Grok. So next up is comedy. I like to do funny things. So yeah, I can touch on that. Self improvement, personal development. Yeah, that's along the lines with the philosophy I have, and just growing up, just being what it takes to be a man, and things like that. So, news and politics. I'm not about politics, but thinking about pushing into that a little bit. But the angle I'm going to take is a philosophical approach, a humanitarian approach, a critical thinking approach, and then just try to pick these things apart and not fall align fall in the line with political thinking, ideologies versus critical thinking is something I can delve into. But what's currently going on in politics itself, oh, there's a lot going on there. But some of my favorite people are getting into high-end cabinet positions with the current president or incoming president, and I'm excited about that far more so than who is actually president. But anyway, health and fitness is something that's always really important to me. Diet and exercise. I try to do my best. I don't always. I fail quite a bit, but very health conscious. Another great topic. So, technology and science. Yay! Scientific method, and understanding what scientific methods are versus it's only a theory versus what actually a scientific theory is. We definitely can be like, or we definitely could talk about stuff like that. Entertainment, well, anything you do, flashy, fun, waving your hands, making a lot of outlandish statements. Yeah, that's often on the entertaining side. Business and entrepreneurship, that's hopefully something I can dive into sooner than later. History. Well, I've really dug into automotive history lately. I've read books from Henry Ford and Alfred P. Sloan, comparing that with things like Tucker and DeLorean, and then relating all that to things like what Elon Musk is doing and how the auto industry is going through a disruptive innovation. We're in cycles. We're doing that again, and that also comes back to what AI is and what this topic of this is. We've been told that AI is going to take our jobs. We've been told that by every technology that's hit us, whether it's robots or computer aided drafting or things like that. These new technologies come in, they kind of take over, and then there's a little bit of a kickback, and then we just kind of adapt to it. But the thing is, the human loss, the job loss, doesn't ever fully recover. So the way I see AI coming in, ask a quick question, generates me a nice bullet pointed list here. Things it's very, very helpful. I think AI is, for the short term, definitely going to be a useful tool, and has the opportunity to wipe out a lot of jobs that are information based. Society and culture, education, and other things. I'd love to see some major education reform, especially as it pertains to how we're going to adapt into the world that we are going into versus the educating for the world we have now. Wow, that's a big topic right there. So yeah, those are good ones. So I moved on. What are ways to make some money without initial investment? It gives some pretty good answers here. Something I want to touch on with my daughters, and as are getting a little older and they want to start making money on their own, to do things on their own. So yeah, this comes up with some good ideas. And I think the most important thing is learning how to ask it the right question to get good answers. And that's a skill that we're going to have to get better at. So going back to losing jobs with AI. So I asked Grok directly here, what jobs will be least likely to be replaced by AI? So this is just the information side of it, the interface from the computer, phones, whatever it is. So here it says, I actually have some disagreements with it. Healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses, therapists. Okay, so I think nurses and therapists are actually more safe than doctors. I think doctors are going to, a lot of their knowledge base is going to be aided by or even replaced eventually with AI. And it probably will do a better job with less human mistakes. Combine that with a properly trained AI that understands fitness, nutrition, and then a drug approach. Maybe fitness, nutrition, philosophy, and a drug approach is probably a better way of ironing it all out. And if AI can actually simultaneously look at results versus therapies or prescriptions or whatever, and give you a better idea if what the success rate is, it's going to be a better system in general. Because it's basically like connecting all the doctors together and getting all that information. So I think doctors are a little bit more at risk than the nurses and therapists. Now, when we get into robots coming in with AI-powered robots, the other jobs start seeing will probably be losses in general. You have maybe one human in a team of robots kind of working together. Creative professions, artists, writers, musicians. Yeah, I think that's safe for now, but it still requires inputs, and it can generally spit out decent pictures. And I've worked with this in the past, and again, it takes asking it the right questions to get the good images of what you want. Music, gosh, I think I've seen people have posted things to me that was 100% AI generated music video with its music and video and weird instrumentation. Seems to do a pretty good job. There's things that are coming up pretty fast with that. So perhaps we still need people, the initial spark of innovation and creation to spur those things with the tools that we're getting from AI. Educators and trainers, again, I think these are at risk because you can get more information and better information and more broadly refined information, but we just need to know how to ask it the right questions to get us the proper answers. That's something I'm going to keep coming back to, and it's something I'm working on and trying to refine myself while working with a lot of this. Social workers and counselors, it may become like your best friend, and it may be a bit of a counselor on the side. As these things get better, using voice to text, text back to voice, eventually it's just going to be talking to another person, and it's going to be very clear. We all hear the AI voices on YouTube, that snarky AI voice guy that does pretty much all the YouTube videos, but there are others out there, different accents. I think you'll eventually be tailoring it to that, and it's getting cleaner. It doesn't sound as clunky anymore, and it's already improving. So I don't think we're very far off on that. So I think these are probably a little bit more in jeopardy than we think. Judges, lawyers, legal professionals. Oh my gosh, I hope these are in jeopardy. This is supposed to be the ones that are least likely replaced by AI, but I think they're highly likely to be replaced by AI, at least maybe not within the next 5 years, but in the next 5 to 10. I think so. High-level executives and managers. Well. We want to keep our jobs, don't we, Mr. Cushy executives? That's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to get rid of everyone underneath them so they can make more profits and then give more profits to their shareholders. Once all that happens, man, where's that money going to go? Who are you going to sell to? It's kind of, that's where I'm going with this whole question. So you'll see that in my next question here. Skilled trades and crafts. I think these guys are some of the last to go in terms of being replaced by AI. Information for sure. You'll be a nice little assistant. Like ask my phone, this particular model, this and that. One of the major issues. It might be a very quick way of helping you problem solve, but you're still going to need people to be there to do the things, to fix the things, to the physical labor. Robots going to be a different aspect. However, I think there's always going to be at least someone who's well versed in that specific category to actually be there to do the job, or even instruct robots as they come along. So robots being separate from regular AI. Child caregivers. Yeah, I think that one's relatively safe. We're always going to need a human connection there. And then I guess AI can also be a tool to help with along the way. And my goodness, if you're introducing children to that at an early age, you're probably going to get some interesting things. Just like my children were born into the world of cell phones and smartphones, and yeah, tomorrow's children are going to be born into the world of AI, already assisting them from birth. Going to develop the brain differently, and those people are going to think differently, and are going to just do things differently. Philosophers, aestheticians, I can't say that, aesthetics, theologians. That'll be an interesting area where, that's an interesting one. I'm gonna move on with that one, but if you're just how AI develops, affects expressions, looking at AI insights and okay, anyway. So I move on here to humanoid robots. What kind of jobs will humanoid robots be doing in the near future? Speaking fast and spitting it out. Warehouse logistics, definitely. Order fulfillment, inventory management. Yeah, look out, Amazon workers. Amazon workers, warehouse workers everywhere. People stocking shelves in stores. Unfortunately, the lower skill level human type jobs are going to be the first to go with robotics, and that's humanoid robotics, dexterous fingers with a good dexterity, human size, relative strength. They can work 24/7. They don't need breaks unless maybe to battery swap or recharge or whatever it is they'll have. They'll never complain. They'll never do things without, don't need bathroom breaks, cigarette breaks. They're just going to work. Even if they don't work as fast or quite as strong as an individual human, they don't have any of the downsides. Someone coming to maintenance them, that goes back to skilled trades, right? But anyway, so manufacturing, assembly line work, again, low skill, high repetition, no need for breaks, no need for days off, no need for any of that. These things will definitely be much better at those positions. And lessons learned from Sandy Monroe, we're supposed to be designing things for manufacture for a blindfolded one-arm builder, which is his early experience with robotics, right? And early experience with robotics, they were blind, they were one-armed, and they had to be a piece process that's assembled very quickly with one hand. I have some things to add to that, but anyway, we're already there with a lot of manufacturing. It can be improved, and with AI learning, we can actually design things that are better suited to that. Healthcare. Again, I was going back to earlier. This is where nurses and therapists may have a bit more of a time fighting this out. So I think you're going to have probably one nurse and a couple of robots to go with that nurse. You probably have one therapist and maybe a couple of robots to go with that therapist that can help the people. Elderly care. I think Japan's already been working on that for a long time, having robots to help with their elderly. So that's coming quick. Customer service and retail. I already touched on a little bit about stocking shelves and things like that. Customer service, store assistants. My goodness, every time you go out to a box store, trying to find someone that actually knows what's going on is not an easy thing, if they're available at all. And there's not many employees with that anymore. Hospitality, that'd be pretty cool. Walk up to let me clear up here. You walk up to a hotel. Instead of a human, there's a robot there, and you just basically tell the robot all the information, maybe show it a card or whatever, show it phone, boom, it's already ready to go. You're good to go. You just walk by. It's going to take everything without any real human interaction or physical things. because I'm sure it'll be connected to the system. Yeah, bartenders in general. Yeah, maybe for, again, assistance. Goodness, though, I think maybe the big box stores, your Applebee's, things like that, maybe. But regular small time bars, you kind of want a human staff there. But robot assistance will help. So yeah, they're going to replace a percentage of people. What percentage is, I don't know. Depends on how well they are, how good they are, how cheap they are. Maintenance for cleaning facility, yeah, they're going to take the dirty jobs, the dangerous jobs, things like that, things that are going to be tough for humans to do, and in general, humans don't want to do. Construction, okay, assistant workers, yeah, for assistants, but definitely not your top contractor types. Home assistants, once again, domestic helping with chores. My goodness, do the laundry, walk the dog. I don't know about walking the dog, but do the laundry and just general cleaning tasks. We already have Roombas and stuff like that, so we're kind of already starting to step into there. Education and research, for sure. Lab assistants, I take a little offense to, because that's what I am, more or less, a lab technician or engineering technician. Okay, handling repetitive, dangerous tasks. Yeah, again, we're going to be assistants. Hey, man, go get that thing over there. Go get me that tool. Bring it over here. It's going to be able to do that. My goodness, the building I'm in is so huge. You're walking a mile in any direction to get something. If you can have a robot, send it out there, and then maybe it can do it very quickly. And while you're still, working on your task, that might be, there'll be gophers. Go for this, go for that. So yeah, it also gives you a couple extra points to your labor shortages, efficiency products, costs. Yeah, adaptation of humanoid robots also faces challenges, including need for significant advancements in AI. Okay, yeah. Saying it's not quite there yet, but getting there. But I mean, we're seeing Tesla bots, and we're seeing them doing more and more things almost on a daily basis on this platform, especially. So, who will be able to purchase robots and produce? Who will be able to purchase the products that are produced by AI and robots if no one remains in the workforce? This is my big question for everything. So who's going to buy it if we're all out of jobs? You put a large percentage of human beings out of jobs. What's going on? So these are its suggestions from Grok 2. Some of them are a little scarier than others. So universal basic income, an idea I've first came to light with Andrew Yang, previous election cycle. Sounds good, but where does that money come from? Yeah, that's part of the problem with that. The money has to come from basically the people generating all the wealth. Does that give them more power? I don't know. Redistribution of wealth, that is an idea that gets thrown around a lot, and it's kind of a scary one. I mean, at some level, it has to happen. You got to keep the consuming thing kind of going if to keep our economy going, or we just need to get to here. Number 3, new economic models. Whoa. Yeah, something's got to change. We might move into the world with Star Trek, where there's some sort of credit system where we don't even need money anymore. I can remember very vividly the Star Trek episode movie when they went back in time. They're like wandering around LA and like, oh, they're still using money here. I'm like, wow, that kind of blew my away. I'm like, that would be kind of cool to live in a world where there's no money. You can just go up and get whatever and do whatever, and maybe that would be the age of abundance that keeps getting referred to. But I think there's a bit of a early adopter pipe dream there, which takes it in full belief and jumps over the gap of what do you do with all these people in the meantime. It's coming up here with like reduced work hours, voluntary part-time employment, kind of the same thing, education and upskilling. Remember the coal miners learn to code kind of thing? That's kind of the upskilling thing, which it's a new term I'm hearing. Upskilling. Well, just up your game. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps and learn a new job, get a new profession. We're not going to be able to adapt as fast as AI, and that's part of the problem. By the time you get some new skills and you adapt to something, guess what? AI is going to have you beat. especially when we get to humanoid robots that can upgrade their skills across the board. Every time one of them learns something new, all of them are going to learn that same skill. So that is going to be a tough one. That's a tough hurdle. Non-monetary money exchange. Yeah, that's, again, the Star Trek world that we need to probably get to. Government or corporate ownership. Oh my God. That is a scary, scary idea. Consumer cooperatives. I don't know. I don't know what that is, honestly. People could organize into cooperatives where they collectively own means of production, including AI and robots, sharing both products and profits. That sounds to me like a democracy owning a corporation, like a local group owning. Like I worked for Cummins in Indiana. The city of Columbus, Indiana, is probably a very small city. It's basically saying like everyone in the city owns Cummins now, and whatever Cummins produces and generates wealth, it will stick into that community. Kind of already is that way. But yeah, if you have a collection of people, you're not going to have any type of real direction. Anyway, so that's a quick take on my dipping my toes early into some AI stuff, and I want to have bigger discussions on this. I have questions, and I'm hoping this, as an assistant, will help me with questions. But I think we're running into a scary future as we see our current auto industry start to crumble. Every time we go into a downturn and come back, it's never as strong as it was the first time around. And with the Chinese automobiles coming in, if we put the tariffs up, that's only going to slow the inevitable. And we might be seeing another late 70s, early 80s when the Japanese cars came in and took over the small car market, and then eventually kept moving up and up and up. So they'll never make luxury cars, and then make luxury cars. They'll never make trucks. Now they're making trucks. China was supposedly never be able to do that or make a quality product. It's not so true anymore. Things are changing rapidly. The biggest question is, how do you as an individual, myself included, stay on top of this? How do we keep our head above water before we end up losing everything? And it could go horrible before it gets better. Let's hope that we can find a solution, because it needs to happen very soon. I think before we push the advancement of this, we got to figure out what's the game plan in the meantime. And every plan we come up with, somebody's getting left behind. So let's be careful. We got to think things through. Think differently. Ask the right questions. My biggest take here. All right. That's it for now. Thank you very much.